Andy, thanks for that. He's saying that the Weasel used damage only, counting strikes by hard, medium, or low impact. Okay, so that's my problem with this. I guess we can look at it. We can bring it up if we need to. How do you know what's hard, what's medium, what's low? Who's the judge? Can anybody on the street walking by be able to differentiate? Because that's my thinking is that when you write criteria and the scoring criteria, it should be written for a child. If you can't give it to a kid like a board game and read it to that kid and have him understand the rules and play them correctly 100% of the time, there's a mistake in your criteria. When you start talking damage, that's a problem because isn't that subjective? How do you measure the damage? What is the damage meter? Is there a way to calculate damage? How do you know if there is a standardized way of doing it? Now, if you're standing up, you're throwing punches, throwing strikes, and you hit a person and their legs buckle, that to me, that's an indicator of damage done. That's clear damage done because you changed their body's functioning with something you did, right? It's not a knockdown, because knockdown, that's a way to score damage. We all can see that's cut and dry. Oh, there's a knockdown. He was knocked down. We should score that as extra damage. It's reasonable, I think. But if there's no clear-cut criteria on how to score the damage, I have a hard time with it. Does that make sense? Am I out of line saying that? It seems, because some people, is it really about damage or is it about excitement? You know what I'm saying? Is it really about damage? How many people would score the spinning 360 kick that lands to a person in the head versus just the hard straight jab? Even though, the hard straight jab may land harder and hurt and do more damage in the fight. I don't know. Yes, we'll do this. I'm going to show you guys the unified rules. I'll go over some of the unified rules because this might clear it up for us a little bit. I'm going to share this screen. But these are the unified rules. This was 2017 they adopted these, I guess. Prioritize criteria for scoring fights. Effective striking, grappling. Okay, legal blows that have immediate or cumulative impact with the potential to contribute towards the end of the match, with the immediate weighing in more heavily than the cumulative impact. So the bigger, heavier thing that's going to finish the fight scores more points over the thing that happens a lot that doesn't finish the fight. A bunch of body shots on the ground versus one head kick that drops somebody. That makes sense. Or a bunch of jabs they get blocked versus a suplex, right? I think that makes sense. The ones that are doing the bigger thing towards a finish score. Successful execution of takedowns, submission attempts, reversals, and achievements of advantageous positions that produce immediate or cumulative impact with the potential to contribute to the end of the match, with the immediate weighing more heavily than the cumulative impact. It shall be noted that a successful takedown is not merely a changing of position, but the establishment of an attack from the use of the takedown. Top and bottom position fighters are assessed more on the impactful, effective result of their actions, more so than their position. This creation will be the deciding factor in majority of decisions when scoring around. The next two criteria must be treated as backup and used only when effective striking and grappling is 100% equal for the round. So it makes sense. They want to weigh and score things heavier and give things that are trying to finish the fight, trying to get the opponent out of there, more credit, more credence. That makes sense, but I still think there needs to be clear criteria around what those things are. because it still gives a lot of opinion, and I'm a firm believer that the criteria should be written in a sense where you should be able to take somebody who's not a fan of sport, somebody who's never watched it before, somebody off the street, give them a criteria to read, take them to a fight, and then they can judge that fight correctly. They should judge that fight correctly 100% of the time. Okay, I've got some games. I got Candyland. Okay, hey, Candyland. I got Mario Kart Monopoly. They got rules in there. My little kids, they know the rules because they read the rules and know how to play the game every time. They know how, every time. They might try to cheat. They might try to bend a rule or pretend something isn't a rule when no one's looking. But they know the rules because they're written down in a clear way for operation, for how to win, what happens when you lose. It's all in there. Okay. Why can't we have more clear criteria? That's a little bit better of a step, I think, because it does put pressure on finishing the fight, getting away and finishing the fight. But that also doesn't answer the problem with, say, like the Venom Page fight, the last Venom Page fight in Storley, where one guy is trying to take the guy down to get control and do damage. And the other guy is trying to fight up to his feet. Neither one of those guys is trying to finish the fight, so to speak, but they both are, right? Because Page is trying to stand up to finish the fight to get away, and then Starley's trying to finish the fight by taking him down and beating him up and finishing him on the ground. So it doesn't solve that problem. They're still both trying to finish the fight. Does that make sense? Right? Does that make sense? And all of their extra words, they're still not accomplishing what needs to happen. Less rules, less words, more action. Floodland saying that I remember McDonald kicked you and you said it didn't hurt, but the announcers thought it was a big deal. Yes. 100%. Just because it looks like it's doing something. So it doesn't really mean like it's damage. It's just, that's what they're saying. It's exciting. That's excitement. He kicked me, so that's really exciting. So they want to score for what they consider exciting. It doesn't necessarily have to be finishing the fight. It's all about, what do you call it? Optics. You know, so if you're doing like a forward flip roll kick that looks really crazy, that does no damage, doesn't hurt anybody, but you do it and it lands, like, oh, big points. That's like pushing us towards pro wrestling shit, man. It really is. That's what I think is happening.